Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Satia Industries Limited Q4 and 12 months FY2022 earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone telephone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. We have with us today from the management, Mr. Rachit Nagpal, CFO, and Mr. R.K. Bhandari, Joint Managing Director. With this, I now hand the conference over to Mr. Rachit Nagpal, CFO of Satia Industries. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Nagpal.
Yeah, thank you. Very good afternoon and welcome all participants. Thank you for your time and interest in Satia Industries Limited. Hope you have gone through our audited financial results, earning updates for quarter 4 and 12 months ending financial year 22. We are happy to state that we had an extremely good financial year in terms of reaching the highest ever revenues and production volumes, boosted by the newest paper machine and a sustained backward integration initiatives. Coming to the industry and company outlook, as we all know, the pulp and paper manufacturing sector is energy and raw material intensive, and the current quarter was challenging on account of increase in cost for both. The reduced availability of key raw material has pushed up input prices exorbitantly. This had led to margin compression of most companies despite price hikes. Despite the macro cost headwinds, we continue to witness an extremely positive demand environment. Our company is an agro and wood-based paper producing company and is fully backward integrated. Our locational advantage in the wheat belt of India shows year-round availability of raw materials, and our in-house state-of-the-art clean energy production capability ensure cheap power availability throughout the year. Further, the caustic soda recovery facilities and eucalyptus planting based on canal technology help us in lowering costs and managing our water discharges in a clean and efficient way. Looking to the uptrend in paper prices and stabilization in raw material prices, company hopes to maintain the uptrend in the top line and bottom line. Coming to the company performance, I hope all of you have already gone through the performance results of the company, so please allow me to skip repeating the same. Future outlook, the company expects further growth in volume for the financial year 23 as compared to financial year 22 and expects to produce over 2 lakh tons paper in financial year 23, contributing total revenue of around 1400 to 1500 crores in financial year 23. The management expects EBITDA margins of around 20% in the coming year. SIL will continue its ongoing efforts in conservation of our environment, use clean modes of energy generation, and produce responsibly without any harmful waste being discharged into the ecosystem. With this, I request the floor for any questions on the same or about our company. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Thank you. The first question is from the line of Ashish Gautam, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So I just wanted to know, what is the top line guidance for this particular year, and have you heard back anything with respect to the ban on plastics from the government in July? Thank you.
Top line for next year?
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Next year, we expect to do over 2 lakh ton of paper, and with the current price ruling around 75,000 per ton, we should be doing anything near 1400 to 1500 crore top line minimum next year. And yeah,
What is
and
the margin guidance for the same?
pardon?
The margin guidance?
Yeah, and EBITDA we are expecting around 20%, 300 crore plus minus, and PBT of almost 12 to 13%, and PAT of almost 10% plus minus. Yeah.
Sure. And like anything on the plastic ban?
Yeah, plastic ban, because everybody is awaiting the date that government has announced of 1st July 2022, because people are holding back their decision to invest if government is really serious about it or not, or they defer this date further. So nobody knows as yet. So we are also waiting with our fingers crossed, and once we get that news, then this cutlery segment could be the next thrust area in our future working. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manan Poladia from MKP Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Congratulations on a good set of numbers, sir. I have a couple of questions. So primarily what I wanted to ask was, in the current quarter, we saw the interest and depreciation figure jump up by a bunch. So I'm guessing the depreciation is from the additional machine that you have put in?
Yeah. Because
And
we
the interest-
capitalized in February. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Please carry on. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, the machine started in February. The new machine that it started in February, the capitalization was done in February, for so almost 1.5 months that additional depreciation came. Yeah.
Correct. Also, sir, what about the interest? New debt has been added into the company over the last quarter?
New
Debt has been taken on in the company?
Yeah. The total debt figure as on 26th May was almost 376 crore term loan.
Okay, thank you, sir. Also, I think you said you're expecting 20% level EBITDA margins for the next year. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you. Reminder to all the participants, to ask a question, you may please press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. The next question is from the line of Sudarshan Padmanabhan from JM Financial. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for taking my question. My question is,
Excuse me,
to
this is the
understand.
operator. So we are unable to hear you clearly. May I request you to speak closer to the phone?
Can you hear me now?
Better now,
Hello?
sir. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my question is to understand a little bit more on the cost side, specifically on the fourth quarter. I mean, one is you talked about the cost pressure, which I would assume would have impacted. The second one is when you started the new plant of that 1 lakh tons. I mean, I would just like to understand in terms of the margin fall or the cost pressure, whichever you call it, how much is primarily because of the unabsorbed cost of the new facility and how much is because of the inflation cost?
Yeah, on the cost side, I will give the reply and Rachit will give the second part. If we look at the last quarter of financial year 21, our cost increased by almost more than 50% over the last quarter of financial year 21 to last quarter of financial year 22. And the price increase was almost 36%. So if I talk about the numbers, the cost increase was almost 21,000 rupee per ton and price increase was almost 18,000 rupee a ton. So that gap of almost 3,300 amounted to almost 800 basis point drop in the EBITDA margin.
So the second part, I think, Rachit, you can explain better, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you please repeat the second part of your question?
So the second part is when I look at the volume. I mean, our volumes have gone north of about 9,000 tons if I'm comparing it on a year-on-year basis. So I would assume that a part of it would primarily be because of the new facility, the PM4 coming in. So
that I will explain. We started production in February, and in February and March. In February we were operating at 43% capacity. In March we were operating at 63% capacity. The number from the new machine was 8,328 ton, almost 8,300 ton. So rest was from the old capacity, and today if I talk of May itself, so we have already reached an average of 194 ton, which means we are operating at 68% capacity as on date.
Sure. And sir, just a little question on your guidance. I mean, it was quite interesting to note that we had a average realization of 62,000 for the full year. I would understand that it would be a little bit more towards the fourth quarter, but if I go with the guidance, I mean, we have talked about 750 crores, more or less, from the new capacity with higher margin, which basically means we are operating at 75 versus 65, 62. One is, is the new capacity coming with higher realization and better profitability, or have we taken a price hike in the May, which is primarily to 75,000?
Yeah, it is both, because if we look at the last quarter price, it was already at almost 67,000 rupee a ton. But if we look year-to-year basis, then there is almost 25% increase in prices as on date. So we are selling some of the varieties of lower GSM and certain special qualities of PM4 even at 80,000 rupee a ton also. So as you rightly asked, so even if I look at my April-May average price for PM4, the price that I am getting is the realization that I am getting is over 79,000 rupee a ton because of the better quality, better furnish and better finish. And overall average we have taken at 75.
So, and with the price hikes, have we been able to pass on the entire cost, or I mean, would we still, because we have given us 100 with margin expansion guidance?
Because we have presumed that the cost increase that happened in the last quarter, which was almost 21,000 rupee a ton, so we have moved with the presumption that if our cost, which is passed on already to the customer, is almost 22,000 ton increase, and the prices they remain stable on raw material side and chemical side at this level only, so we should be easily able to make the numbers, achieve the numbers that we have given to you. So we see the cost increase of the last quarter in the next financial year. Yeah.
Just one question, if I may, before I join the queue. I mean, this is primarily on the tie-up that we have with Zoom, specifically for the cutlery business. If you can give some color on the units that we have started there, how is this business expected to scale up, and also some color on the kind of contracts that we have with them. Is there a minimum offtake contract that they are giving with a minimum margin, whether they're taking at a minimum EBITDA per kg, something around that?
On the cutlery side?
Yes, on the cutlery side.
Actually, on the cutlery side, to be very frank, we're moving little slow at the moment because we have been already too engaged with our new 500 crore expansion, and afterwards now our total focus is, as we have been explaining our earlier calls, to increase our staple production, number one, from existing 200 to almost 300 ton, and then wood pulping capacity to from 150 to 300 ton. So both project staff pulp expansion will come in June and mid-June, and wood pulp will come in September. So that was the priority area number 1. So that was the reason we were going little slow on the cutlery segment, though 2 machines have been installed. Approvals that different tests were to be done, that approvals we have received recently, all the tests, every clearance has been given. So we are now waiting only for, because the raw material prices have increased, the margins have definitely reduced in this cutlery segment. So we are just waiting for the government stance on July 1st this year, and then we will decide to add new machines and go further with strength in this segment. Till then, we are keeping our fingers crossed. Yeah.
I have more questions. I'll come back.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Padmanabhan, you done with your questions?
Yeah, I have more questions. I'll come back on the show.
Sure, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Oh.
Reminder to the participants, to ask a question, you may please press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. We have the next question from the line by Satia from Honesty and Integrity. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for providing the opportunity. So in the press release, you have mentioned about raw material price hike. For agro, you have mentioned 65%, for wood chips 5%, and for waste paper 6.5%. So this is like year-on-year number or Q-on-Q increase that you have mentioned?
I do not know where we have mentioned that, but definitely I know that. We know that raw material prices. If we look at on fourth quarter to this last quarter, the raw material prices has gone up almost by 24%, and fuel cost has gone, because we are not using any coal. So in our case, it has gone up by almost 7 to 8%, and chemical has gone up by almost 11%, and the rest is the other store spares and other wages, etc. So our total cost has gone up almost by 44%.
Right. No, what I was trying to understand is that among the mix that we use, so agro waste that we use and waste paper that we use and wood chips that we use, so which has seen highest inflation year-on-year basis and Q-on-Q basis? Is it agro residue which has seen?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you are correct. It is agro. You have rightly said that agro was earlier average was almost 6,000 rupee a ton. Now in the last quarter the price was anywhere around 12,000 rupee a ton, and even in this year, normally during the procurement period, the price is anywhere in the range of 3,000 to 4,000 rupee a ton. But this year we started with 4,000 rupee, and at the present moment we are buying at almost 9,000 rupee a ton. So the major cost increase has been in the wheat straw only. Yes, but since it is almost 40% of our total raw material mix, so the cost impact is proportional only. Yeah.
Correct. And as compared to that, I mean, how much would have been the prices in waste paper? What I'm actually trying to understand is that because we use agro residue and price rise has been exceptionally high, or because of alternative uses of agro residue in power plants, is it that we are facing more cost pressure as compared to the mills who don't use agro residue? And that's why I want to know what is the kind of inflation in waste paper procurement that you have seen and wood chips that you use.
Yeah, definitely the big mills which have to their disposal vast land bank of wood trees, big jungles at their disposal. So they are definitely at an advantage at the moment because the wood prices haven't increased to that extent. For them, but even if we look at the cost of the agro-based pulp, even at these increased prices, it will be still cheaper than the wood pulp price that we make in-house. Earlier, let's say if we have been, our cost of straw pulp would have been anywhere around 28,000 rupee a ton. So now maybe it is 40,000 rupee a ton. But if we look at the wood chips pulp made in-house, so the cost could anywhere be around 50,000 rupee a ton. So it is still cheaper than them, number one. And number two, presently with our start of new paper machine and with scarcity of paper in the market at the moment, maybe the price realization that we are getting is sometimes even more than A-grade mills in certain grades. Earlier, the gap was minimum between 5,000 to 10,000 rupee a ton, but now that gap is not there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So we are not at any disadvantage, but definitely they stand to gain by virtue of lower pulping cost. Their cost hasn't increased, and they are also increasing their prices. Though B-grade mills, agro-based, they have been increasing much earlier because of the compulsion that they have. But wood-based mills are now following the suit. So all are have increased their prices in May and June. In June, they are announcing further new by 5,000 to 7,000 rupee a ton in that range. Yeah.
Right. And secondly, because of this capacity, which is now we have added, we have basically practically doubled the capacity mostly. So that will for sure increase the requirement of agro residue. So within our catchment area, is it sufficiently available, or do we have to go more far to get the required agro residue?
No, there is no issue on that account because even today, even if we need almost 500 ton of agro raw material, our average intake is almost 900 to 1,000 ton every day. And we have had good stock of almost 15,000 ton of wheat stock with us at the moment. So we are building up that stock. We are making the bales of the wheat stock so that stocking is easy, and we are able to ensure that we do not face any problem later on. Yeah. So that is not an issue at the moment. Yeah.
Got it. I understand. That's it from my side. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manan Shah from Moneybee. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity. Sir, you mentioned that our per day capacity is now increased to around 700 tons per day. So, what is the normal number of days that we should count while calculating our capacity?
Normally the downtime that we take is 6 to 7%. So if we take 7%, so you can easily take 340 days. And this 700 ton capacity is at an average GSM of 64 GSM. Okay. So if we make lower grammage paper, then production reduces. If we make higher GSM paper, like when we make government paper, 80 GSM or 70 GSM, then production increases. Yeah. Okay. So normal average GSM is around 60, 61. So the average comes anywhere near 650 or something like that at full capacity utilization, which is not being done at the moment. This year we are taking almost 70% capacity utilization for the new machine. Yeah.
Okay. And also on the guidance in the press release, we mentioned that we plan to sell additional 1 lakh ton. And considering that we've already sold 143,000 tons in the current year, so then the guidance you mentioned was or 2 lakh ton guidance, but additional you are saying on one hand around 1 lakh. So just a disconnect on that side.
Yeah, because already 8,000 ton was already there in the last year figure. So if we subtract that, that comes to almost 92,000 ton. But the issue is that presently we are able to run the machine at 900 meters per minute only. The machine is designed to run at 1100 meters per minute as per the original plan. So certain changes in certain roles and certain equipment has to be done, which Element company is doing, which may take some time, which we come to know only once we run the machine. Wherever you face certain teething problem, so those corrections once done, and with that we are now taking this conservative figure.
Okay, understood. And to make these changes in the machines, would we require the engineers from, I believe you purchase the machine from France, or the engineers are there locally?
No. They'll be again coming from France only. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. And I believe we would be making a higher margin paper from our new line. And also considering you are talking about taking further price hike of around 5,000 to 7,500 per ton. Then considering all these factors, any particular reason why we are still projecting only 20% EBITDA margin as against say 2020?
No, I said that A grade mills, the big mills, they have already increased some. They have already announced some increase in May, and some they are planning to do in June, which could be anywhere totaling around 7,000 rupee a ton. We have already increased our price to 75,000 ton for the lowest grade of quality, but for the higher grades, as I told earlier, for the quality that is made on 4, even in April and May, our price realization was on average basis 79,000 rupee a ton.
Okay.
So we have already priced in the increase at the moment. If there is any further increase in the prices, which may happen, looking to the demand side from the market as on date in writing and printing segment, so we presume that there could be some increase in the raw material or chemical prices also. So that is why we are taking that conservative stance. Yeah.
Understood.
Welcome.
Okay, I'll come back in the queue. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manan Poladia from MKP Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what I wanted to ask was, let's say we are producing 1 ton of paper. How much agro and wood pulp do you use on average per ton?
For 1 ton of pulp, straw pulp is presently almost 48%, and wood pulp is almost 42%.
Correct. Also, since you've done all the capex on the agro and the wood pulp side, next year, how much of your raw material requirement do you think you will have to buy from outside?
The wheat straw will be all available locally, and wood pulp, wood chips and veneer waste, almost 30% will be from the local area and 70% from the far-fetched area like Yamunanagar, UP, J&K, and all these areas. Yeah.
Okay, but sir, I'm asking, outside of your capacity, basically the 200 ton per day agro based and the 300 ton per day wood pulp capacity, how much will you have to buy from outside, like from other vendors? Percentage?
Yeah, no. The pulp, we will be only buying 5 to 10% of softwood pulp, just to give further strength in certain qualities. Rest all will be in-house only. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Perfect. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. This question is from the line of Vishnu Sangla from Full Corporate Services Limited. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to know what is the current order book in hand with respect to State Textbook Corporation.
State Textbook Corporation, we have an order of almost 15,000 ton in hand, and we are getting additional order for UP basic supply, which is the total tonnage required by the customer is almost 30,000 ton. So we will be getting 10 to 20% share from that, and we are expecting a big order from NCRT also in next 10-15 days, which could be at a very good price also.
Okay.
So the present order is almost 10 to 12,000 ton in hand, which is firmed up already.
Okay.
And 6,000-7,000 ton from the market, so it is almost 45 to 50 days of our production capacity.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sudarshan Padmanabhan from JM Financial. Please go ahead. Mr. Padmanabhan, your line is unmuted. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for taking my follow-up. So my question is, to understand a little bit more on...
Excuse me, this is the operator, so we are unable to hear you clearly again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, this is
hello.
better. Thank you.
Yes.
My question is, slightly to understand this, cutlery business or the replacement of single-use plastic a little bit more. I mean, I understand that, this Alex Garden, the India of Zoom, had talked about, explosive demand and probably replacing 10 billion to 20 billion in terms of opportunity. Just to understand a little bit better, I mean, in terms of, would price be such a big element when, you're talking about such a huge market to be replaced? And second is, with respect to the agreement of Zoom, I mean, is it something like you take the technology from Zoom to basically convert, the wheat into cutlery and sell a specific quantity at a specific price back to them? So how does this entire thing work, and if you can give some color on, the macro side of it?
Actually, Zume has, though I am nobody to comment on any other company, but Zume had their own vision with which that company started this business. Earlier, they were not into machinery making. So they were outsourcing the product from Taiwan and different other China and other countries. So they intended to set up shop in India. And ultimately, they entered into agreement with us with the presumption that we will scale up this production to a bigger quantity once we start the initial trials. So then the COVID came, the things got delayed, and in the meantime, they took almost 2 years and then set up their own shop in Los Angeles, where they started their own production. And then the same machinery, 2 machines with 2-ton capacity were given to us, which we installed and commissioned, and we have been waiting for this period, all health authorities and different tests being conducted on the product and hygiene, cleanliness of the total area, and that took some time further. But at the moment, if we see these machines that Zume provides, they are able to make complex design of product also. Normally, if we have 9-inch plate, 12-inch plate, or a simple bowl, or these kind of things, so these you can make even on semi-automatic and manual machines also, which are very cheap. But these machines are that they have installed in us, so they can give the products which can be sealed also. Like we have 750 ml bowl and then the lid which seals the product inside the bowl to be a waterproof package for the even a curry product also. So that was their idea, and with that thought they had in mind that this product will be getting much higher price, which currently is not happening in India at the moment. So that price which we were expecting for complex items anywhere around 250 per kg, 400 rupee a kg at the moment. Because of number of players that have come in the market, number one, and number two, because there is still not ban on the plastic alternative available, which is much cheaper than this product. So that gap is further, the availability of the plastic product at the moment, single-use plastic product at the moment is hampering the growth of this market at the moment. So unless government is serious and they implement that ban strictly from 1st July, only then this price will be remunerative, and the working of more and more entrepreneurs joining with additional capacity with the thirst is likely to come in India, as I foresee it. And moreover, Zume, they have different thoughts on this also, to make specialized product like mobile package or scoops for Maltova or certain other products which could not be made on the normal semi-automatic machines. So if they are able to be successful once the single-use plastic ban is there, which is possible only after that, so maybe then more remunerative, and we will not be in the normal line of business, where almost already more than 60 players with small capacity with 10, 20 small 500, 200 kg machines are operating and selling at anywhere between 160, 180, 200 or any price which they can command, and with the much lower quality also. So that is the overall scene at the moment, which is quite confused. So once this ban comes on 1st July, I think the real shape will come after that only.
And what about exports? I mean, if India is not lucrative, is there an opportunity to export anywhere? Because
for export we need to have different registration. For Europe you need different registration. For US you need different registration, number one. Number two, we need much bigger capacities also, because their demand is huge and they want to divert from China to India. So at the moment, because India doesn't have that kind of capacity to generate the range and the quantity that is being looked for by US market, so maybe not too many people are coming in India. So like we are planning another 4 or 5 machines. So we are already talking to one US fellow. So whatever 6 products that you want from us, you just tell us which will be a regular demand from your side. We will buy only those molds and continuously produce for you if you have some kind of arrangement based on the cost price relationship on a longer perspective. So that is how we are looking at this business, and the decision will be made after 1st July only.
And sir, on the profitability side, one, you mentioned that the remuneration is not as probably great as what you initially thought. It's about 50 rupees per kg less. But even at that, I mean, given the fact that it is on an ESG platform where people want to move towards green chemistry and green packaging, on an EBITDA per ton, or you talk about even margin, I mean, should the margins be much higher than the 20% around what you are making currently?
Yeah, earlier the expectation was minimum 40% EBITDA, but with the almost doubling of the raw material price, pulp and everything, as everybody knows now, the final product price hasn't increased to that extent. So the EBITDA has come down in the recent time, to almost 20-25% only, which is almost same as in paper product.
Okay. And one final question from my side is, sir, now that we have taken this, debt was 500 crores, on the books, how do we see the cash flows and the debt say over the next 2 to 3 years? Because I'm sure that the numbers that you are talking about, you are going to see a fair amount of debt reduction, in my opinion, at least close to 100 odd crores, kind of cash that would be generated on a year.
Yeah. I think Rachitji, you will be able to better explain, please.
Yes, sir. As on date, the outstanding debt is 410 crores, out of which term loan is around 370 crores and 40 crores relate to short-term debt. So coming to the next 3 years, we have an average repayment of around 100 crores each year. So by the year, we are able to release 30 crores debts. And coming to the disbursement side, pending disbursement, it is almost 80 to 90 crores. So we are at the peak debt as of now. So our next year, that debt, I am expecting debt levels at around 370 crores below. Hello.
And what would be the interest cost for us, sir, on the debt, the new debt?
It is somewhere around 7%, 6.5 to 7%.
So thanks a lot, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nitin Kankar, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
My first question is regarding the capex. For how long will the capacity of 2.05 lakh ton suffice to meet customer demand? Secondly, the asset turn in FY23. So we are likely to clock 1,400 to 1,500 crore revenue in FY23 against plant and machinery of around 880 crore, including capital work in progress. Essentially, during a favorable commodity cycle, we expect to have asset turn of 1.7x. Is this the best case scenario for the near future, and where can the number go by FY25? And my last question, what is the capacity utilization level we are targeting for FY24 and 25, assuming current capacity doesn't increase by then? Thank you.
Rachitji,
Yes. Yes, answering your fixed assets turnover question, like as of now we have 1:1, like our fixed assets is almost 900 crores and that is the turnover. So coming to the next year, as we are expecting turnover of around 1,500 crores and fixed assets would be around 850 crores, including the next year depreciation. So that would be around somewhere around 1.8 to 1.9 times. So this would be the best ratio we can achieve is 2.2, 2.5 in the coming financial year 24. So, and what is the next question you have asked?
It was about the capacity utilization level that we are targeting for FY24 and FY25.
That will be, this year we are taking almost 70% capacity utilization. So next year we presume we will be using 100% capacity, 1 lakh ton from the new machine and 1,35,000 ton from the old capacity. So it should be anywhere around 2,35,000 to 2,40,000 ton in financial year 24 and 25. Yeah. It should be then almost consistent from that period onwards, unless some capex in years to come is done on PM3, where there is a margin for increasing the speed and increasing the production. But those plans are not yet on.
So would it be right to say that in the near future the capacity would go up only marginally from the current 2.05 lakh ton?
No, it will be almost 20% up. It is not marginal, it is quite significant, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Reminder to all the participants, to ask a question, you may please press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. The next question is from the line of Mr. Maheshwari from Strategic Advisor. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir. I would like to congratulate the management for achieving highest yearly revenue. That's a big feat. So just wanted to understand a couple of points. The first one is, what would be the typical breakup from the PM4 in terms of production type, whether it would be cup and stock paper, whether it would be wedding card paper, or which kind of paper. So any idea on the mix that PM4 would achieve? So the second question would be on biological assets. I see a significant increase in the value of biological assets. So just wanted to understand whether it represents that the company's biological assets have gained value. That means would it be a better yield in terms of cost saving going forward, or some better revenue that can be generated with this upside? And the third part would be on the backward integration and the process enhancement. So the capacity addition in terms of boiler, the caustic soda recovery, and the REC credit that we enjoy. So can I have a brief overview on all the 3 points?
Yeah, regarding the breakup of PM4 products. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we plan to make, because we have seen that our new machine runs fantastic even at very low GSM. Normally, no big mill with wood furnish makes paper of 45 or 50 GSM, which is in very good demand in export market. So we plan to have almost 20% production of paper below 50 GSM. And then secondly, there is a very high demand of surface size paper in 54 GSM, which only Bilarpur was making earlier. No other mill is making surface size paper in 54 GSM. So we are planning to introduce surface size paper even in 52 GSM. 54 GSM we have already introduced surface size paper, and we are planning to introduce surface size paper in 52 GSM also, in lower GSM also, which is again a very potential market in publishing and as well as in notebook, high price notebook segment. And third is the surface size paper in heavy GSM, which is 70, 80, 90 and 110. So that will be another 20-25, and then we may make copier paper another 10 to 20% on PM4, and maybe the cup stock paper we may restrict to PM3, which was the old machine. So that product is already very well accepted. So we may continue with the cup stock paper on PM3, the old machine. So this will be the more or less 20% lower GSM, below 50 GSM, 20 to 25%, 52 to 54 surface size, and rest SS Mablitho and copier paper. And as far as your second question, biological asset, this value has gone up because as the age of the plant matures from 3 to 4 years to 4 to 5 years or 4 to 5 to 5, 6 years, it grows in size. So we have almost 2 lakh plants. The value that we have given is almost 37 crore. So per plant cost comes to, since the age of the plant has increased, so the per plant value is almost 1850 rupee per plant. So the weight of per plant is almost 3 quintal, 300 kg. So the cost is almost 6 rupee a kg as on date for the raw wood. So that is how this price calculation is done, and depending upon the age and the maturity of the wood, so we, as per Indus, they increase the value of these biological assets. And the third, you asked about the backward integration. So presently, since we are operating at lower capacity, as far as PM4 is concerned, at only 70% capacity, so we have 200 ton of agro average and 150 ton of wood average, wood pulp average. So which we are increasing to 300 ton wood pulp, and agro we are increasing to 250 to 300 ton. So with this 600 ton in-house pulping capacity, we don't need any outside buy of pulp substitute. The only pulp if we want to add to the quality we may require is softwood pulp or BCTMP pulp, which is used in the copier paper. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. That answers majorly of the question.
Thank you. As there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the conference over to Mr. Bhandari for his closing comments. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you for your participation, and we assure that we are doing our best, and I think since there hasn't been much investment in writing and printing segment in the recent year, and markets both indigenously and exports, as they have, you must have read in the papers also, the export demand has increased tremendously, by almost 30 to 35%. And the major part is coming from writing and printing also, which has increased by almost 90 to 100% over the last year. So I think we have entered the market at the right time. Our total production is already absorbed from the day one. We haven't lost a single ton of paper made on this machine. We haven't repulped anything. So that way, we hope that we come up to the expectation of the market and the investors. Thank you. Thank you for your interest. Welcome.
Thank you, members of the management. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Satia Industries Limited, that concludes this conference call. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your line.